So first up, we're doing Grim Kleaper's Destroying a Universe with the IRS. I've never seen this guy. I've never seen what they do. I have no idea what this game is. I don't know if it is a game or not. But I was told that he is Reggie's friend. I've seen one video from Reggie. Reggie scares me. I'm not sure what I'm getting into, but I am very afraid in advance. Oh boy.
What happens when you don't pay your taxes? Nothing is left of your body. Welcome to Warlock 2: The Exile, a game about traveling through time and space to give God a speeding ticket full of...
What? I've never even heard of this game. Unlawful possession of divine powers. What? Warlock 2?
Full of alien civilizations,
Whoa.
a morbidly obese rat, and the magical version of nuclear warfare. For today, we're going to be
Magic
breaking
nukes.
an unfair, impossible difficulty with the power of crime and the federal government. Now, Warlock is a...
He literally named himself the Federal Reserve. So this is looking like Civilization, but with magic. Oh. I played a lot of Civ 4, tried the Civ 6, and it was so different I had no idea what I was doing. Should have actually read the tutorials. And Jesse, did I do the new Hunter Theory video yet? Nope, but it is in the playlist today. It just may or may not be pushed off because it's so far in.
A lot like Civilization. Except
Hey!
Instead of being historical, it's fantasy. Instead of passing policies, we cast spells. Instead of voting, we have exploding. And instead of exploring one world, we explore a universe of worlds.
Oh! Oh, that is so cool! Sorry, I don't know if there was multi-planet stuff in Civilization's later games. Every time I did, you basically got to, and the world is all a nuclear wasteland, because eventually everyone uses their nukes in every game. Or, well, maybe that's just how I played it. But actually seeing multiple planets is so neat.
From life worlds to lava worlds to tropical worlds and even worlds filled with tanks. Wait, that's not part of Warlock.
Very cool script. Oh my god.
It's the sponsor of this video. World.
Yeah, I've seen so many World of Tanks ads lately.
Warlock 2 begins with all the great mages of the multiverse, working to defeat the Dremor, a planet-eating swarm of extraterrestrial invaders. But while they were busy, this random guy showed up, guessed a spell to become God, declared himself the United One, then proceeded to subjugate or exile everyone in the world, which leaves us to stop him. And of all the great mages we could be, from monarchs to demon lords to dragon overlords...
They have a lot of options. Please tell me the rat is one of them. Please tell me the rat is one of them. I saw the rat and I loved it. It was a giant fat rat in a crown. I'm like, this is the best character ever. Also, Jesse, this sounds a lot like Warhammer 40k. Honestly, it kind of sounds like fantasy. I mean, it's less fucked up than fantasy, but it's close.
We are the Chief Justice. To get an idea of who this man is, one of his landmark court decisions was during a child custody case. So you say you're the mother, and you say you're the mother. All of you are guilty, you're...
Please don't say they're going to actually cut the child in half, and then he just shows a video of a doll. Oh, no. Maybe I'm just thinking of the Reggie video too much, but oh no.
Child is now owned by the state, case closed. So the United One forcibly seizing power and enslaving all the great mages? That's not the problem. The issue is that he doesn't have a permit. And so begins our crusade, to personally fight through the realms, come upon the United One, and obliterate him over a speeding ticket. Our fact...
Were those... customized, made your own, or is this actually just a faction with that sad actual story in game? I don't know, and I'm kind of terrified to find out.
Faction's race is the Svarts, a sort of half-dwarf, half-Russian hybrid, where their society took a good look at capitalism and communism, then adopted the worst parts of both. For this video...
Aren't the Svart elves from Norse mythology the ones who did a lot of... They were basically dwarves, but they weren't actually called dwarves? Could be mistaken.
I'm also using the Renaissance mod, which is basically a super DLC in of itself because it's just a fantastic expansion. If you ever think
so it's modded on top of that. Oh shit.
About playing this game, just use Renaissance. The other mods are interesting. Now, before we start,
I need to see that again for
the other mods.
New great mages. Ah, yes. The power to have a glowing staff. That is quite useful.
Now, before we start, we get to customize our great mage with 10 trait points and multiple pages of options. They range from, here's a little more food, have some extra mana, and you are now an elder dragon. But something else we could do is...
That's just one of the things, just like random, add you is dragon. Okay. That's a thing. It seems like it's a bit of a better choice than everything else, but sure.
For certain resources to start near us. So I chose an elven colony, dwarf settlement, and donkeys to spawn next to our capital. There will be a
I don't know enough about this guy yet, but being told he was a Reggie friend, and there's donkeys right next to him, and he has both dwarves and elves living in, let's call it, harmony. I don't like where this is going. I think this is going to be a problem.
Reason for this later, but partly because this difficulty requires a lucky spawn, and it took a few tries.
Oh.
Alright, I can't be near water. That's a restart. Or water, great. Why is my only resource on a volcano? Water.
Oh.
Hideous. Water. Okay, finally a good resource.
So what does he mean by a lucky start? Like, water, I guess, is just, you probably need resources immediately to do things, and water might be good later, but not immediately. So I don't know nearly enough about this game.
As you might have noticed, the map of Warlock isn't exactly normal, with floating islands and radically different terrains. That's because each world is a shard world, a smaller mini-world with other shard worlds connected via portals that eventually lead us to the last world, Ardania, and the United One. And unlike in Civilization, we start with our city pre-settled, so getting a bad spawn can be game-ending on this difficulty. But after enough resetting, we got a spawn with the god-tier resource I need, a pumpkin. Next to the second god-tier resource, another pumpkin. Little known fact that wizards eat pumpkins for mana, as evidenced by the 4 food and 4 mana they give us. In the top left, you can...
So, it's the magic aspect. Okay. That is... according to Bill Cipher, yeah, he's playing on impossible difficulty. You have to get really lucky to not die on turn 1? Oh, I thought it'd be difficulty and you might just starve. No, apparently it's you immediately need everything or you die. But wouldn't that just mean that I don't... What? Maybe I'm wrong about this, but it almost seems like that just forces you to reset multiple times until you get the God start. Why not just guarantee you get the God start and then play with that difficulty after that? Because it seems like that's the only way you'd play it anyways. Huh.
You can see we have gold, food, mana, and research. Gold is for training and upgrading units. Food is for city growth. Mana is for spell casting, and research is for discovering new spells. Because we do.
And yeah, nuclear apocalypse Armageddon. That apparently is the thing. Vampire doesn't do anything but volcano from a fire weapon to bullshit everything. Yeah, I get this is good. Yeah.
Have the power to cast spells, even if we shouldn't. Because fart units are so slow, our starting ranged unit could summon birds to scout for us. Our warriors almost died to the local sorority, until their last remaining member was persuaded to not commit crime. Going back to our capital, as cities in Warlock grow in population, the borders also increase. Levels 1 through 4 means 1 tile out, 4 through 9 means 2 tiles out, and 10 plus is 3 tiles out. So we want to plan
So basically the same way Civilization structures its stuff. Got it.
Our future cities accordingly. Every level we can build another building, so I put a trading post on our donkey resource.
And that's why he's planning out the building so he knows where they can be and he doesn't overcrowd, which I did on Civilization more than one times. Again, I've never played Wizard or Warlock, whatever this is. Yeah, it's Warlock. So I have no idea the basic ins and out of it. And frankly, I don't know the basic ins and out of Civilization either, but I have a lot of hours failing at that game. I should be a lot less proud when I say that.
Then employed the local dwarf population. It's like a worker co-op, where the workers own the company, and I own the workers. My advisor also gave me a...
So you've heard of basically every employment ever. Good to know. I'm going to laugh because if I think about it too hard, I will cry.
To build a harbor, a helpful building, considering there is no water in our entire world. What we do have are giant mutated cockroaches. On each world is a series of monster layers, kind of like Civ barbarians, but sometimes they can be a lot stronger. As part of our difficulty, I turned up these layers to their maximum, so each shard world is going to be infested. And speaking of shard worlds, we'd found the portal to the next. It's cursed, and to uncurse it, I could hire the Mages Guild. But seeing as that actually costs
that's a lot.
money, I just brute forced it by reading random stuff on the walls until it worked. Sure, my people are now cursed, but that's a sacrifice I could afford to make. By entering the portal, we're greeted with the next shard world, a life world. As per the name, it's a great place to get mauled by a bear. Ironically, much safer than the life world is the death world. But through exploring, we found an elven village and mysterious mist. Each resource gives at least one building option found in the building tree. And the
so you can annex things you find. Okay, that does explain a lot more.
Building tree is quite large.
Whoa.
Where some of the buildings are kind of completely insane. Unlike in
I'm sorry, what? Gathering platform, plus 75 gold, 75 food, 75 magic. Upkeep is only 3%. Built on mysterious mess. Population insufficient. That is... I can see why insane difficulty is doable then. As long as you can get to any of the upgrades, you can immediately ramp up.
Same. Unlike in Civ, in Warlock, there's a cap on how many cities you can have at once. So building next to powerful resources is a necessity. As we progress through the shard worlds...
Wait, there's a cap? Oh, so you can't just infinitely sprawl. Oh, that is a huge limiting factor.
The later ones have stronger resources, exchanging something like extracting iron for adamantium, or eating pumpkins for inhaling uranium fumes. The tantalizing prospect of eating green rocks also attracted our first hero. These are unique units getting special abilities as they level, with ours being a druid / bear summoner / guy with pickaxe, I don't know.
Oh, so it's not actually a matter of building your civilization on a planet, it's... Huh. Is it building a civilization on a planet and then moving forward, or the shard? Or is it getting to a new shard and building up there to get to the new shard and build up there? Because it sounds like that's more of the goal, to move on and progress, as opposed to just having that overall thing. Huh. So, Bill, you mentioned on this difficulty, the maximum number of primary settlements is 6, but you can turn it off if you want. But you can set up as many special settlements as you want. They don't count towards the limit. And the Elven Village is probably one because it was a special settlement he found and took in rather than made. Oh, that could be useful. And Valeria mentioned it's 75% and 3 of the materials. Oh, not 75, 75, and 75. Okay, so according to Keiki and Valerian, that makes a lot more sense. It's still kind of broken, though.
In hiring Bear Man, we can also equip him with artifacts, then send him to the front lines. And in Warlock, heroes are pretty good. After clearing out the last monster dens on our capital world, I founded a second city, which got visited by a traveling merchant. With prices as high as his, it was almost criminal to not steal from him. Back in the life world, our druid was gaining experience in genociding the local wildlife. One of the reasons he does so much damage is his damage type, elemental damage. I'll explain this in more depth later, but just know
bears. Those don't look like bears. That is a freaking wombat, sir.
That different units have different damage types and resistances. So a spirit unit might be immune to spirit magic, but an undead unit might be weak to life magic. So if you really think about it, I'm just healing people with death magic. In the life world, it just so happened that we stumbled upon the portal to the next shard world, and we're still killing the wildlife. Even with the next shard world available, I wanted to fully explore and settle the life world first, especially...
Okay, so it's not a matter of just getting to the next world and always pushing forward. You actually do need to build up as you go to establish yourself on the first world then. Huh.
After stumbling upon the magic fields and herbs, 2 extremely powerful resources. Our capital was also printing insane amounts of money, so I decided to rename it something a little more fitting.
The Federal Reserve.
There was a building that let us make even more money. Maybe some kind of elven casino with plus 75%.
Oh my god, they literally made the IRS and then built out the Elven Casino as a freaking... The elves are now on a reservation. They come here to gamble. I don't even get... This is so wrong in so many ways. What the hell?
Income. Our second city was able to use the nearby iron to build a foundry, granting us a masterwork armor perk. What are perks? Well, they're basically the way that we break the game. Different buildings, resources, and quest chains grant us perks. These are upgrades that we can apply to our units, whether they be basic warriors, summons, or heroes. Perks have a limit on how many different units they can be on at once, which for masterwork armor is 5, plus they cost money to apply. But there is no limit to how many different perks you can have on one unit. Right now, this isn't really a fact.
So they're thinking you're going to go wide and distribute everything into the biggest area. But if you concentrate it, you are literally the wrecking ball. You go from a swarm army to a Death Star. I'm using 40k terms on this because I can't ever think of anything else, apparently. Yeah. And Valerian mentioned it's the IRS casino. Oh, God, I hate everything about this. It's like, hi, guys, you want to pay your taxes? Well, let's find out how much. Still probably better than the actual system, but whatever.
I just equipped our druid with the masterwork armor to increase missile and melee resistance. But as more perks become available, things start to get a little silly. Plus, without these perks...
Wait, what did that say?
Perks become available, things start to get a little...
Melee damage, 335 damage, minus 100%? That's given green, so it's positive? What? Huh? I must be misreading this.
Silly. Plus, without these perks, our poor basic warriors are slightly outmatched. I managed to found our third city in the life world, next to a plethora of resources. Also founded was a fourth city, back in the capital world and right on the edge of the map. Now, for a normal city, this would be a waste, but we can actually turn this into one of several special cities, all of which don't contribute to our city limits.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
they
can
mentioned
have
that.
any number of them. Free cities make food and gold, fortress cities have powerful attacks, and temple cities make mana and increase relations with a specific god. Here we can see the 8 different gods, with our priority being the god Dauros. I haven't talked much about the spell tree, but it's fairly extensive. By researching 4 spells in a group, we can move on to the next group. The top bar is mostly combat-oriented, the middle bar is utility, terraforming, and summoning-oriented, and the bottom bar is god-specific spells. By having high relations with a given god, we can research and use their spells, with Dauros having by far some of the most broken spells later in the tech tree.
Shield of Dauros? What exactly does he consider broken? Because we've already seen a few things that are kind of crazy, but also, Bill, you mentioned it makes him immune to being punched. Oh, so that was damage received. And Bill asked me, damage reduction. It's a debuff. It's all that damage, and then he doesn't take 100% of that type of damage. Oh.
We can subtly increase our relations by making entire cities worship him. I wouldn't call it a cult, just a community where you worship something, and you can't leave. Next to our life city.
Yeah, that's not a cult. Because Scientology will sue you if you ever use that phrase about them. You can't do that.
Besides all the resources, was another surprise, a Dremor city. If you recall those universe-eating creatures I mentioned at the start of the game, that's them, the ones dying to a tree. Below their city is the portal to another shard world.
The universe-eating guys have cities? What?
Surprise, a Dremor city. If you recall those universe-eating portal to another shard world,
apparently that bulbous thing was the city.
Monsters after World 2 start to scale pretty hard, especially in a lava world. So I wanted to develop our empire a little more first before I went through. Besides,
so you basically need to be able to survive the next world, and since everything's a death world. I'm kind of curious though, what makes this so hard to do? Like, is it the resourcing community for upkeep, or is there something else about this instant death mode that makes it so difficult?
I had another world I needed to enter first.
Also, I am actually being tempted into playing this right now because this sounds so freaking cool, man. I love the concept of worlds you're exploring, and I just kind of like the idea of doing it this way. I'm not sure I'd be good at this game. In fact, I'm almost certain I wouldn't, but it looks cool.
First, the portal to the human world. Making up the entire map, there are a lot of shard worlds. One of them is our home world, and most of the rest are inhabited only by monsters. But 5 others are home worlds to the rest of the great mages. And connected to this life world is the human faction. Led by a criminal mastermind, this human society looks a lot like our own. Everybody is poor, nobody has rights, and their leader is also a massive dick. I just want to trade spells, but no, you're too...
Yeah. You offer gold, lesser restoration. You will get blessing of the sun. Yeah.
Too good for that. You won't live long at this rate. Look, you might be a crime lord, but you're just a level 1 Al Capone compared to my level 100 IRS. Demanding money from me? No, that's my thing. I wasn't very concerned with fighting the humans, considering their entire army was dying to a single idle troll. My crossbows could pick off any stragglers and then get mauled by bears. So I got some Dremor.
So apparently we know the absolute most terrifying faction in this game. Wildlife of bears. Oh. Actually, that's not a joke. Drop bears apparently are the craziest thing ever. Makes sense.
Warriors to back them up. You'd think life worlds would be a lot nicer, but they're really just a game of chance where every dice roll is the number of bears that will maul you. Oh look, another portal. Surely it can't be worse than here. You know, my expectations were low, but not.
Oh! They have flesh pit worlds. Why? Why is this? I don't. I have questions, and all of the answers are things I don't actually want in return.
Not low enough. Every tile has minus 50% production. The world is infested with hostile Dremor. Oh, and it also damages all your stuff every turn. So now our next world options are the lava world, the universe-eating aliens world, or the human world, which just so happens to be on the edge with a one-tile choke point. On the other side of the life world was our druid, charged with protecting the local wildlife by eradicating it. In giving him masterwork armor, we could boost his melee and range resistance, plus leveling him up to give him a new powerful spell, Throw Pickaxe. Right now, our entire army was being propped up by this one guy. Even the life-consuming Dremor warriors ran into a slight problem. Nearby,
Bears.
our occupied Dremor city had broken into mass protests, turning the
You can occupy the Dremor. I was told in chat that these are basically just Tyranids with diplomacy, which, I mean, according to first edition, they had diplomats at one time.
Warlock version of Zerg into picket line union strikers has got to be a serious achievement. But I learned from the best on how to talk with unions, so I burned the whole city
Oh, that just hurts. Still better than Amazon.
down. We need some better units to actually fight the humans, which is why I'd unlock rune warriors, melee infantry with low health but high resistances that can get buffed with runes. In the meantime of recruiting them, my druid was holding the line. Of all the things he could summon, what would be the scariest?
A bear. Called it!
So let's zoom out a little. Remember that our ultimate
Bearfish.
goal is to get to Ardania and defeat the United One. But what I didn't mention is that he's not alone. Besides the other 5 great mages, there are also 4 lieutenants that will try to stop us. And the first challenger...
What?
No spell research is complete. By his order, but we are tired. We know. Our nephew will do it. Farewell then.
What the hell is that from? No, seriously, it sounds like 90s style voice acting, but I have no idea what that is. It actually kind of bugs me a bit. What?
Now, let's set the stage. You're a dragon, and this guy's nephew. You look to your left, you look to your right, you look down, and think to yourself, why are there 100 statues of this guy? First of all, that's my religion, dick. And part of my religion is strapping each of them with magical rocket launchers. Fendral's 2-headed nephews have decided to hotbox my capital world, repeatedly. I'm sure the citizens are doing fine.
POV, citizens of Zabonio. On fire. Yeah. Let's just call it Miami.
Tendrils' nephews on the other.
What is with the cat with the deep voice? I don't get it. What is going on? Wait, Bill, that is his actual dialogue by the... What is going on outside? Oh, that was a house-shaking peal of thunder. Okay, that is terrifying. Ha! I thought that was the fans in my house that were a little louder than normal. No, apparently that was my walls shaking because there was a thunder that went on for like a good 5 seconds. Okay, lovely. Also, again, that was the actual dialogue in game. Oh god.
On the other hand, not so much. With enough dark magic, anything is possible. I even solved my starvation problem. Raise your hand if you need food. And of course, to neatly wrap everything up, now rats were eating my people. So I did what any great
Okay, never mind, they're playing as New York.
leader would do. I teleported them to distant lands. With Tendrils' intervention dealt with, we'd still have 3 more lieutenants to fight off later, whereas in the meantime, I'd recruited our first rune warriors in the life world. Dwarven muscle mommies versus human soldiers. If the internet has taught me anything, it's that one man's death is another man's fantasy. These armored ladies have...
Damage minus 82%. Melee 120. Yeah. High defense. And Miriam just going Thunderbringer in the chat. Does that need to be said that way? Okay, there was another 3-second peal, smaller this time, but more loud. I have no idea how long this stream is going to remain live. This is moderately terrifying.
Extremely high melee resistance, so a full melee attack, 2 damage. And now, thanks to my Life World City, I could upgrade them from Woman to Woman 2. As my 3 female viewers can confirm, they shoot fireballs out of their hands. Go ahead, break out of that corner.
I hate when my wife does it.
I dare you.
Has to
With
be
the
cleaned
sheer
up
volume
afterwards.
of dead units, you'd imagine we're pretty close to breaking through the portal. We are not. At the start of the game, I mentioned we were playing on the highest difficulty. But what does that actually mean? Well, that would...
Enemy damage mole. Resource production. They have more resources. Spawn period is less than... Oh, no.
Would be this. Now, if you don't understand what this means, don't worry. There's only a few important pieces. 10% more damage and 50% more critical hit chance are the tame ones.
Tame is 50% more. Wait, fail resource production. Oh.
Problem arises with this one. 4 times resource production. Compared to the cheating AIs of some of the other strategy games, that might not sound like a ton, but when you...
Wait, 4 times resource production. Is that for him or for... Sorry, that actually scared me out there. The thunder's getting quicker and louder.
Factor in buildings that give an additional 50%, 75%, 100% more income, food, mana, research, whatever. My
Wait, is that for him or for everyone or just the enemies?
unit production is limited by money, and my spell casting is limited by mana. I have 700 mana and 1,300 gold. Krell, while asking for a peace treaty, has 17,961 gold and mana to spare. The AI has transcended our pathetic earthly
Oh! That's why. They have infinite production by comparison because they're literally going quadruple.
limitations. Krell will produce from every city non-stop with no regard to cost or upkeep and cast as many spells as allows each turn.
I did an Etsy store. So far, these are just the first 2 we have in there. It's Airier3D.etsy.com. There's a link in the bio. If you're interested in any of these, hit them up.
Let me be clear. The game was not made for this difficulty, and we haven't even seen the other great mages. To give you...
It's a good thing it only applies to great mages and not the enemy. Unless it applies to the enemy generals as well. Granted, they went down easy, but... So in other words, defeating God at the end is not the hard point. It's surviving the other taxpayers. Sure. Also, there has been at least one constant roll of thunder going on for one rolling into the next for the last 30 seconds right now. I think it's been 3 distinct rolls. And I'm almost expecting you guys to start hearing the rain through the walls on the mic. I'm fully expecting the stream will go out because I'm going to lose power at this rate. This is moderately terrifying.
You a more practical idea of what happens. When I passed a turn, Krell has catapulted so many units through the portal, the game doesn't even know where to put them, so it just flings them onto random tiles. And trust me, this is a mild case. It gets so much worse later. Our Druid Doomslayer...
That's mild! Oh boy.
Single-handedly pickaxed entire armies to death, and now was facing down an opposing enemy hero.
Oh.
But undead super warrior or not, nobody is immune to getting firebolted in the balls.
Oh, yeah, I would hate to see my fireball.
Bird population.
Fireballs.
And if human history has shown us anything,
yeah, the Australian military, I think it was 1 or 2 different wars against the emus they lost.
whenever we declare war on birds, we lose. And this was no exception.
Wait, what was that? Was it Nuisance Wildlife Management Military Operation taken by Australia in 1932 to address public concerns over the number of emus, flightless birds, in indigenous Australia. Unsuccessful attempts to curb the emu population. Soldiers armed with Lewis guns leading the immediate up to the emu war. Although many birds were killed, the emu population persisted and continued to cause crop destruction.
History has shown us anything.
God.
Whenever we declare war on birds, we lose.
What did that say? 1932. The Australian Army went to war against emus. that we're destroying farmland. The army lost. This is why you need to farm me. Oh, shit. Sorry. I felt my floor shake with that last peal of thunder. I've never felt that. Okay, so at this point, I think I'm just playing chicken with the power company. This is fine.
Lose. And this was no exception, forcing me to rescue their people by fighting the evil birds, then burn their city to the ground. Back in the capital, things had significantly improved, and by improved, I mean there are now giant cockroaches eating my people. They're so great, I decided to share them with the rest of the world.
What?
I teleported them to distant lands. So while we
Teleporting pests to distant lands. So he's literally making it problems for everyone else later.
prepare our forces to enter the human world, let's talk about research and spell casting, specifically enchantments.
Melee
As I
resist-
mentioned before, the
Oh.
research tree in Warlock is the spell tree, with spells that do all kinds of random stuff.
Water
But
walking?
some of these spells are
That's why he needed to be away from water, because he can't unlock anything to make it useful yet. Okay.
enchantments, spells with lasting effects that don't go away, but cost mana each turn to maintain. The first 3 enchantments we get are for boosting resistances for melee, ranged, and elemental damage. There are 6 types of damage: melee, ranged, life, death, spirit, and elemental. If we look at these rune 4 women, we can see they're resistant to these 3 and weak against these 3. Because units can do multiple damage types at once, having strong resistances to everything is absolutely essential to the late game. This is where both enchantments and perks come in, being the main way we scale our units. So I enchanted our druid with everything we had so far to boost his survivability. We cleared out the remaining humans, prepared to enter the portal, and
What?
say hello to Elpister the Eternal, 2nd Lieutenant of the Great Mage,
He's literally just dropping ice everywhere on your capital because he's attacking you. That would be so annoying.
possibly the best spellcaster, and definitely the most baked.
Good day to you, colleague. As you must be understanding by now, the United One won't let you reach Ardania.
Instead of being like Tendril and sending units, he's a lot lazier and a lot more annoying. Elpister just casts terraforming spells at random across your empire. Sometimes he's actually beneficial, and sometimes he just submerges your capital. The thing is, he's so lazy, we don't even need to beat him.
Cast a spell that I don't know, and I will leave you alone.
What?
That might not sound too bad, but there's a slight issue. Elpister knows every spell. That's like a 4chan user asking you to tell them a
Oh god, did they edit Walter White to make him as fat as me? Oh dear god.
slur they haven't
Stoned
used. It's
Elminster.
impossible. Which means we're gonna need to create our own, starting with breaking into these guys' house. Something my iron ladies are more than capable of. This frees
damn.
a local witch who's willing to sell us the spell, and like any good government contractor, it is vastly overpriced.
Whoa.
To get the money, I cleared out some of the monster dens, like a random dragon that spawned next to my capital. Capturing the nest gave some mana, and
And I'm assuming this is used in-game as a way to force you to innovate with new spells that you normally wouldn't get. Okay.
Armageddon, a spell that is on the spell tree at the very end. So when I go through the human portal, okay, that's not really what I was hoping for. So when I go through the human portal, we get to do this.
What?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win a nuclear arms race, by skipping to the end. So while
Okay. Sure. What the actual... So the game will just randomly give you the nuke. I'm assuming it's just... Is it scripted you have to get the best option? Or did you explicitly have to get lucky? That's... That's kind of insane. Like, unironically, if it's random, that's just good luck on his part. If it's a scripted event that you just have to do these specific events to get, then that's repeatable and the game is utterly broken, which in its own right is still awesome. And according to Bill, it is random. Okay, that's still insane though. So he just got lucky, very lucky, yeah. I wonder how many times he reset to get that.
while my druid firebombs this city, let's go back to our cities.
Wait,
By
does anything left
stacking
to firebomb?
tax offices, mints, and banks in our capital, we were now making an insane amount of money. Money
Yes, literally 1% of what the other guy makes just for being on this setting.
I used to pay off that witch. I always knew you were the greatest mage in all of the world. I don't actually have it. Oh, she did have it. It's just over here. You know,
And
you
a
really need
fish?
to put the important information first. Like how many people are complaining about flies in the capital? Another pest invasion, huh? I teleported them to distant. Okay, so apparently distant lands is this guy's house. Shadowbolt, a reward for ruining that man's life was
So they literally just actually sent it to a person's house. Oh my god. Is it a random NPC or one of the big wizards? I don't know.
a
It's
xenophobe
awesome.
talisman. How fitting. At least his fate was better than being in the human realm, getting AoE'd every single turn because my opponent has infinite mana. The only positive was that they bombed their own stuff, allowing me to take the first city. Oh,
He bombs his own stuff because of infinite mana. That's... So there's a legitimate strategy of just invading as fast as possible against the enemy and just letting them do the work to themselves. As long as your bait unit is durable against whatever they're dropping, that's probably fine.
all we had left to do was conquer the capital, which eliminates the human great mage from the game. Here's the thing though, capitals are really, really strong. I summoned some bears and moved them a little closer.
Bears?
Instant AoE one-shot. Virtually all of our units would die in 1 or 2 hits from the capital, meaning I needed something tanky to draw aggro. And it just so happened that we could get it through the spell to stop Elpester. Of course, he had to rain on my parade first, and by that I mean drown thousands in a mass flood that nearly destroyed the Federal Reserve. But hey, at least I can build that harbor now. In killing the Whirlpool Leviathan, we get the one spell that Elpester doesn't know. And what's the last thing this neckbeard would think of? A spell he couldn't possibly conceive of. Rocky, the Rainbow Dragon. A summon spell that, when completed, lets me summon a single powerful and tanky dragon. It also makes
So he already unlocked nuclear warfare, and now he has nuclear rainbow dragon pride day. Got it.
Elpester return to eating Cheetos and moderating subreddits instead of nuking my cities with water. Meanwhile, our rainbow boy was still being nuked, but with fire, utilizing our druid's healing and using our room women to eradicate all human life. Turn after turn after turn of Rocky getting bonked, blasted, AoE'd, and shadow bolted. There were so many spells, the ground turned into raw mana, but somehow Rocky survived.
Oh, sorry, that actually is a really cool effect in the game I wasn't aware of. So if you keep using magic in the same area, it makes it change? Oh, that is such a cool effect, because I'm assuming you can do something with it. I wonder if there's a strategy to just have the enemy constantly target someone who can survive it, to intentionally turn everything around them into raw mana, and then use it whenever you beat them.
And Krell's capital was eventually taken, eliminating him from the game. 1 out of 5 great mages down, 4 more to go. By taking a human city, we get access to its buildings and units, but much like people in real life, they kinda suck. With Krell dead, that makes all his other cities become neutral. Neutrality that has never stopped me before. Even so, somehow, right before he died, he started a quest. A quest that has a boss fight he never completed. How do I know this? Well, it has something to do with the 167 HP Snow Queen who spawned in the desert. But don't worry, because Krell in his infinite wisdom had decided to try and fix the problem by spawning a second Snow Queen. I don't know how that's possible, but it must be a very progressive.
I'm just saying, maybe he has a type.
Kingdom. Either way, I have a rainbow dragon and a new
And
hero.
it died
He doesn't
immediately.
Really have any magical or special powers.
Major
He's
foreman?
just a guy with a pickaxe. But pit that against an army of hungry vampires, and apparently it wins. In the life world, we'd run.
Okay, so we've gone full-on America on this without guns. We punched the enemy to death. Sure, or pickaxed them. I guess they asked if they wanted not to be here, and they said yes.
Into the issue of an insane number of monsters spawning. Shadow bolting and pickaxe throwing dragons was fine, but I had a more permanent solution.
What?
Of course, the only thing that can survive a magical nuclear explosion is a bear. So by this
The
point, we
bear
pretty much wrecked the
survived.
human world, colonized the life world, and fully settled our capital world. Temples and free cities can't be less than 3 tiles away from each other, but if I just give some settlers temporary levitation, we could get a little creative. Our choice was either the lava portal or the Dremmer one. Considering the Dremmer portal kept spewing out enemies our foreman had to periodically pickaxe, that seemed like the best choice. And just as I was about to go in,
What?
So, a great
The new
mage.
spell research
You might
is
be
complete.
strong.
That is the Empress, an immortal necromancer lich and third lieutenant of the United One. She
Oh.
creates lich mirrors, which are undead spawning portals at our capital, our life world, and the former human world. These mirrors are a terrifying— oh, would you look at that? One spawned next to my rainbow dragon. That one spawned near my capital. That one made some skeletons next to my rune ladies. And this one made the mistake of messing with Minecraft Steve. That's another one and another one.
Minecraft Steve. That's just, it makes perfect sense. Damn it. I hate everything about this. It's so awesome though.
Come here.
Yeah.
Why do you disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
Right, so what else did I have to do today?
Hey, look, it's Last Has Been Hotel
Alien
episode.
Hell. If I could sum up the Dremmer world
Or
in
Hell
one
of Boss.
word, it would get me demonetized. Whoever we send in first has to be able to tank enormous damage. Our Rune 4 women are pretty decent. Our Druid is a little better. The Rainbow Dragon has a lot of health. But John Foreman, he has 97% melee damage reduction.
What?
93 missile, and 88 life, among others. And we need it, because it's sending him through the portal, all non-
So we have a mage, we have a dragon, and we are sending Steve. Sure, why not? Oh my god. I mean, with those kind of levels, I'm not even sure how many things he put on the guy. The guy just seems like he's overpowered initially.
non-Dremmer units take damage every turn here. Those Rune 4 women who cleaved through most human units died in one hit to a mage. Any Dremmer
Damn.
soldiers dealing melee damage, that's not an issue. It's the magic attacks that cause most of the trouble. At this stage in the game, the best way to avoid dying is to kill the other guy faster. Or summon bears and let them get fireball. That works too. Even some
Yeah,
of our tankier
bears.
units can die to an unlucky chain of attacks. I would use more spells, but I may or may not have spam clicked through the notifications, accidentally hit an event, and spent 2,500 mana on something I didn't need. The most expensive dwarves in the world and their combat skills fall a little short. The only benefit of the Dremmer world is its resources. Nerville for some of the strongest armor available, ancient dig sites, and a holy ground for special god units. Raising
In other words, this is the overwhelmingly high risk, really high reward. Yeah.
all the Dremmer cities meant I'd need a smart city for the resources. Fortunately, monsters don't naturally spawn in this world, so by raising every single city and full clearing the map, the only thing that could kill my people now is getting there. It's like dying from dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I remember that. That's how I died every time. I've never beat that game. It was always dysentery all the time. Or running out of time when you're playing it in class, when they weren't aware you were playing it in class. But we're going to ignore that possibility.
Except in this case, the land just eats you. I had to give them levitation and research a god-specific terraforming spell just so they could walk 3 tiles. I nearly finished the top research bar, so I had access to an insane number of damage spells and a few enchantments, like this fire weapon enchant. Damage plus 50% elemental magic.
Oh, wow.
That gives us an extra 50% damage on a unit in the form of elemental damage. Then there's an ice weapon enchant plus 20%, plus level ups give more damage too, like this plus another 50% damage, bringing the druid to 136 base damage. That's enough to kill 6 of our starting warriors at the same time, and we're not even done. There's a few resistance enchantments, a lifesteal damage enchant, and most importantly, Shield of Dauros.
Oh, he mentioned this was
A max
super
level
broken?
spell for Dauros that adds an insane amount of resistance. In the meantime of researching up that, we cleared the rest of the Dremmer, got some monster spawns, then discovered a
monsters?
portal to a shadow world. That
Oh.
means our options are either go through the shadow world or go through the lava world. And after sending some birds into the shadow world, I do not want to be here. So lava—
Was that a freaking mecha tank? What? Yes. Yes, that is a magical mech tank because it has rocks growing out of it. Yeah, sure. A loon walker. Okay, this is not just fantasy, it's sci-fi fantasy. Got it.
be here. So lava world it is. Okay, I might have made a mistake. Welcome to hell, again. Every enemy here is just like the Dremmer, except they do more damage, have more health, and why is there a smart city here? Yes.
What?
Help me, my people.
What?
Okay, I did not. That did not happen. Lava worlds really just have an abundance of powerful enemies and sulfur, neither of which we need. More in demand was a third and fourth hero. Using the repeatable spell called Call of Suzerain, we roll the dice every turn to recruit a new hero. Our first was a Death Baron, who sounds strong, but he's only a usual level hero, the lowest rank like our Foreman and Druid. But one turn of rolling later, we got Gamra, the Fire Mind. As far as legendary heroes go...
Wait, where's to say if he's legendary or not? Titanic fire-breathing prehistoric species, turtle with a expansive mind. Okay, sure. Creature lord. Looks pretty good.
Oh, he looks exactly as badass.
Oh, he's big.
Armed with his trusty Talisman of Xenophobia, my racist Sky Turtle had just about completed our super team of all 4 parts of the political compass. Even with all the insane buffs we could give our heroes, there was still one more thing to make them truly invincible. The Shield of Dauros. The very last enchantment of the Dauros spells, requiring a maxed relationship and functioning as the endgame enchantment.
Oh. Upkeep 6. Gives the target shield status and greatly increased resistance to all types of damage. Oh.
Plus 50 resistance to all damage types.
Except Spirit.
In practice, this helps the most with Spirit and Death resistance, since it's difficult to increase them. But there is a weakness. All our enchantments are ridiculously insane and overpowered buffs can be taken away in one swoop by dispelling them. A super cheap, super easy to cast spell that removes all enchantments. Or it would if I wasn't worshipping Dauros, because the nail in the coffin is spell lock. Our final enchantment that locks the enchantments on our characters and makes them completely immune to any dispel. So it wasn't very surprising.
That is so absurd. So the balancing act is you can always remove them, and it's a very much win-loss thing. It's like, yeah, you're great if you kill the enemy first, but you can just say nope, but only if you worship that. Are the other gods nearly as broken, or is this one specifically giving you the I give you all the defense and no one can do shit about it? Oh my god. I love this. It's so broken.
When we were nearly one-shotting tormentors, capturing the lava world settlement, then forcing them to build the settlers that would replace them and demolish their city. We had executed every single denizen only to realize the lava world was a dead end. To be fair, it was a lava world, so I probably made their life better. So now we have the shadow world left and a tropical world portal. Considering a giant robot just walked out of the shadow portal and blasted the length of Germany, we tried the shadow world. It's dark, it's scary, and it's no match for a flying xenophobic turtle who gained the ability to enlighten people. Life-changing, I'm sure. The shadow world primarily has spirit damage, and because of our Shield of Dauros, we were able to speed through fairly quickly.
Because they have
wipe
some
out all the
immunity to
cities,
it.
clear every monster, and come upon the portal to the second to last world in the game, a Nadra, which is a mirror world to Ardania. Very clever, devs. But the moment we head in, we'll face the 4th lieutenant and begin the final quest chain. And before doing any of that, I wanted to defeat the other AI players. So I colonized the shadow world, started...
So, do you need to defeat the other AI players, or is that just kind of a thing you do?
bottling uranium into something, gave everyone adamantium armor, and went through the only portal available, the tropical world. Oh, well, there's the drummer queen player, and she has 488,000 gold. How many units are even over here? Oh my good god. There's more? What? There's another player over here. Everything is raw magic. They've been bombing each other for 100 turns. This is gonna suck, isn't it?
They spent 100 turns nuking each other. Have nearly all the mana, all the gold. There were more units than places to normally land on. What the? I don't... When he said earlier, this you're going to die mode was not meant for the actual game, I thought he was being silly. No. Apparently, he was downplaying the this game is broken immediately state of it. Nukes for everyone!
Right, we're at the portal, so we should be good. Wait, you gotta be...
There's more?
This is what my turn looks like. They're just teleporting more units. I'm playing a tower defense game.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. Boom! Boom! Boom!
Hey, Quark, or Croc-Manic, or Maniac. Magic World War I simulator. Yeah, that seems like exactly the thing we're dealing with right now. I also have no idea what this is, and it's like, your brother passed away. Boom, boom, boom. What? It's a meme? It's a meme I don't understand. I guess. What if the Cold War was like World War I? Oh, God, yeah. It's like 100 turns of bombing. The Rat King is dead. Not the Rat King. And the Swarm Queen is dead.
The Great Mage has been defeated.
So, that was 2 hours I'm never gonna get back. A short recap. 2 AI players are now dead. My druid became Jesus. I recruited this elven loser lord, killed some floating goblins, some floating werewolves, and what would be the entire—
Were those werewolves in a fancy hat? Yes, those were werewolves with claws on top of their claws in breeches and fancy top hats. You know, at some time I should just not ask, but I'm going to. What the hell, man? Sure, let's go with it. And see it, not the Swarm? I disagree. I saw that it was covering more land than they had land of.
And what would be the entire population of Luxembourg, and had to watch as the Drummer Queen took 1 turn and used it to fill up the whole map with units. She had 500,000 gold. All the while, I had actually missed a Death World portal in the very corner of the Shadow Realm. I initially wondered why it was empty. Then I discovered this guy and this girl, who had been locked in eternal conflict for 228 turns. Instead of going through another Hall of the Mountain King montage, I realized that the AoE for some spells is so large you could friendly fire without declaring war. You must be more careful over area spells. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Overdoing it a second time. Now, I could just sit here and kill both of them like this, but I actually found the reason that none of them have died yet. Both have infinite mana, both can't make any progress, and apparently both don't have many spells. Here's Armageddon. Huh? So now that I've brokered a lasting peace, all we have left is Ainadra, our—
So he solved the problem by giving nukes to everyone. And because he hasn't declared war on them, they're not actually going to fight him. So instead of him casting the spell, he literally just leaves it to them to nuke everything. You know, I was expecting AI to be broken like the Swarm Queen was. But no, apparently they can make bad choices too. Sure, why not? Nukes for everyone!
Rocky, Bearman, Xenophobic Turtle, Immortal Lich I just picked up, don't worry about that, this loser elf guy, and John Foreman. Wearing his iconic 5 sets of armor, 10 different enchantments, 12 level up perks, 4 different types of weapons, lifesteal on every attack, teleportation, uranium addiction, and a pickaxe powered by the Mark of Satan. Heading through the portal to Ainadra,
and we have found the most overpowered person in all of the game. Minecraft Steve. Sure, he can do anything he wants.
Use some magic to find our target.
He's in creative
Citadel
mode.
Of Amberon the Dark, last lieutenant of the United One.
You've come this far, but in vain.
A new spell has been researched.
With a host of—
Why does he sound like the most, oh yeah, I should probably do some voice acting today voice. Hello, person who is my enemy. They did not do much with that voice acting range. The game looks cool, but whew. Yeah. And Croc-Manic, or Maniac, sorry. I just realized World War I simulator was in world that sounds almost exactly like our Dennis. Our Denny's. I'm just thinking Denny's now. The breakfast place of all the World War I flashbacks. Actually, considering how close to the bathroom you are, that might be accurate because you will be gassed.
Units who decided to make my life easier by standing next to each other. For some reason, all these buffs affect AoE abilities of my heroes too. So 400 damage fire tornado? Yeah, that sounds about right. But those are baby numbers compared to Mr. Foreman walking up to the big evil castle, swinging his pickaxe, and deleting it from the game. One last portal to Ardania to fight the United One. A fight that comes in the form of, once again, his 4 lieutenants. Fandral, Elphister, the Empress, and Amberon. Meaning that by killing them, we would win the game.
Why are you so reckless? Why do you rush to your doom? Out of vengeance, out of bravery, or out of stubbornness?
1 damage, 100 damage. Oh! They can't do shit! Good to know! Oh shit, man. And Helios. He's not in creative mode, he's just in the end game of a large Minecraft mod pack. Yeah, but to be fair, that's basically creative mode at that point. Without the flying. Well, actually, no, you can fly in some ways.
Watch and learn.
I don't think there's much learning going on.
With one's lieutenant's dead and his avatar dispelled, we could achieve victory over all of Ardania, leaving only one world left to conquer. The world of tanks. That's right. You thought I forgot.
Oh my god, he actually went back to it.
Play the game. Link in description.
This game looks really cool. The Grim Kleaper did a great job making it seem really cool and fun and broken. Like, absolutely broken. But I gotta ask, what happened when he gave everyone nukes? Because I kind of wanted to see that. Not because I know how it's going to go. I think I know exactly how it's going to go. But because I wanted to see all the explosions. I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime I want. Joking aside, this game looks... It's the weird mix of really cool, really interesting, really nice mod pack, and voice acted by the most bored people I can imagine. It's like, oh, hello, colleague. Show me a spell I have not seen before. And now I will fight you. I'm already dead. Oh, how horrible for me. Yeah. Also, on the upside, the oh god levels of rain and storm is not happening anymore, so that's fine. Yeah, that was terrifying. I honestly thought that I would lose power, and I haven't, so pleasant surprise. Mostly because I have a UPS system that'll be fine for my stuff, but I will lose internet because it knocks it out every time. Yeah. Basically what I'm saying is, that was cool. I'm honestly tempted to play this game. Not sure if I play it on stream or not, but I might pick it up if I ever find it on a good sale, because everything is a nuke. Sounds really fun. Especially if there's like crazy additional mods to give you more crazy spell options, because that sounds awesome. I can see why this guy gets along with Reggie, though, because that was a level of, hey, it's already broken. Let's make it worse. That really does kind of fit in with that level of, let's call it precision. That's a word that is completely not wrong. Yeah, let's go with that. Basically, to quote Thomas in the chat, at last, there will be peace. I was looking for a reason to use that laugh. I'm sticking to it. And, Crocmatic, you mentioned someone say, Wizard War, I cast Testicular Torsion. I'm not even leaving a like for that one because I'm a magic and I hate you for that every second. And Thomas Rodder, you mentioned, I hope you're all right. And what do you choose, Warhammer or Trench Crusade? I'm going to say something really weird. Model-wise, both. For worlds to live in, Warhammer. Warhammer is less horrible than Trench Crusade. Yeah. That's fucked up. It's one of the reasons they have such cool models. But yeah. Bill Larson mentioned Power Word Scrunch. You know, I could see someone making a mod pack for that. And now I am terrified. Let's ignore this. I'll say, you guys know the deal. That was awesome. There's a link below. It's not as horrible as I thought, and it's not as mind-distorting as Reggie's video, but it was really fun. So I'm glad this was recommended. Hit it up. And there'll be links below. You know the deal. Do that. I'll see you guys in the next one.